What is your OSPEEP? I've got to get the hell out of here right now. Story. When I was in high school early 80s, I saw a lot of heavy metal bands. I had a friend who could always get us backstage after the show. So Anvil played and we went backstage. All of a sudden the lead singer said, "Okay, all the girls take off your clothes or get out." I got out. The rest of the girls stayed. Undefined. I was at a concert and the guy asked girls to show their titties. Most of the girls were middle and high school. I guess not a lot of girls did because he kept saying our state was boring and he seemed upset about it. Creeped me out and I can't see this guy the same anymore. Undefined. I was leaving for work at 5:30 am. While it was still dark, I locked the inside door handle and walked out the door, pulling the door closed behind me. As I turned around to walk off the porch toward my car, I saw 4 men jump out of a van and start coming toward me. The street was otherwise empty. My heart was pounding and I felt panic start as I was digging in my big, messy purse for my keys to unlock the door and get back in my house. The whole time, I'm just thinking they are going to grab me, shove me in the van, and rape/kill me. I was able to get back in my house before they made it to me. But it scared the speep out of me. Turns out they were immigrations officers looking for someone who used to live in our house. And that is standard practice for them if they think the suspect will run. Bruh, what? That's terrifying. I was living in France on my own and I got a tutoring client. A man wanted me to teach his young daughter. First session he offers to drive me home. Spends the entire time asking about a boyfriend, where I live, etc. Second session he wants to give me a tour of his house. I noticed he was standing in the door when we went into a room. Once we got to the second floor, I grabbed his daughter so nothing would happen. After that I tried to quit and he guilted me into coming 3 more times. Every time I got so anxious beforehand I wanted to puke. Every time he would offer a ride and I took the 2 hours of buses home instead. Finally I fully broke it off. I knew something bad was going to happen to me and confirmed it with a few other young English-speaking women I knew. He was recruiting at best his second wife. But they all got extremely bad feelings being alone with him. Reminds me of what happened with Lindsay Hawker. She lived in the village next to me. Taught English in Japan. Never came back. Poor girl. Chilling. After the first bad feeling, I always made sure to see the daughter before walking inside. 8 years later, I now would be like beep off immediately. After I graduated from college, I finally landed an interview with a guy who was starting his own company. The economy was speepty, and I so wanted a job. I went in for an interview, and quickly noticed that he double-locked the door behind me. It was a small office in a strip mall. I immediately started to panic and then realized that no one else was there. He had me sit down and 2 questions into the interview he tried to put his hand up my skirt. I was wearing a business skirt suit. I got up and ran. And thankfully was able to open the locks and get the hell out of there. My mom accompanied me to every interview after that for a while. Undefined. 1. My mom didn't go in with me to every interview after that. She would go with me, make sure it was safe and that I felt safe, and then would wait outside. 2. I didn't report him, because stupid me at the time thought it was my fault. When I ran into my car I called my mom and she asked me not to tell my dad in fear that my dad would kill the guy. 3. It was for an analyst role in Chicago. 4. I'm okay now. In that days after I promised myself to never take speep from anyone. I've kept that promise. Thank you for all the awards. Last week we read a bunch of people saying they wouldn't hire someone that brought a parent to a job interview, and now I understand why someone would bring a parent to a job interview. I'm an extra in speepty TV shows sometimes, and there are usually a couple dozen others. Once I played a very small role with a couple lines in a smaller production. I told them I'd do it if my dad could come with me. I'm a young woman and there's no way in hell I'm driving into the city alone at night to get in a stranger's RV at a rented house. He came and it was legit. So I got to be in a speepty late night true crime show. Was 15-16-ish. Drunk at a party. Half passed out on a couch with some dude pawing at me. I was conscious. But barely. And was too tired to make him stop until I heard him tell someone else help me get her to the other room. Could be he wanted to let me sleep it off in peace. But I doubt it. I forced myself awake. Found my equally young and drunk friend and made it out to the front yard where we were able to catch a ride home with somebody's older sibling. Oh my god, this was scary. Bad diesel fire at work. I saw the fireball billowing toward me, so I jumped in a pit. The fireball blew over me. And when it retreated, I got the hell out of Dodge. I got some gnarly third-degree burns. But I survived. Undefined. WTF, do you work in Bowser's Castle? Just a plumber working to get his lady back. I was living at a pretty upscale apartment complex. The perimeter was lined with really nice ground-level townhome units. This one guy moved into one and he was kind of odd. On warm days he'd walk around shirtless in the complex's park, which is odd for PNW. But I mean, okay. Then he started pasting Bible verses to his window. Now I'm not saying liking the Bible is an issue. But that was an alarm bell. He started writing in charcoal over the Bible verses pasted to his window. Then one night I took my dogs for a walk. It was during about when my dogs weren't sleeping much and needed 2 a.m. walks. I go down to the park area in front of these townhome units. Lots of bushes and trees. My dogs are pissing in the bushes and suddenly my girl dog gets low and starts growling. We notice there are boots in the bushes. I then look around and notice a dozen figures in black tactical gear and masks. Virtually invisible. I freeze and start to panic. One of them puts his finger to, I assume, where his mouth was. I got the hint and bolted. Right as I get to the entrance of my apartment, I see them take a battering ram to the door and drag the Bible verse guy out completely naked as he screams about how God is judging them. The unit smelled horrible and was left as is for months. Eventually a nice couple moved in. I asked the building management what happened and I was given a look and told, you don't want to know. I really want to know. As a young teenager, maybe 13 years old, I was camping in the backcountry during a summer camp in the Midwest US. Second to last night of the trip we started seeing mammothous clouds and the sky turned green. But no immediate rain or hail. Being the good Midwestern kids we were, we knew the signs and found a semi-solid shelter before the storm hit. When we got out of the backcountry we found out that 3 major tornadoes had touched down and gotten as close as half a kilometer to our original campsite. Undefined. As a New Yorker I would have just stared at the pretty sky and probably die. The city I currently live in does not generally get tornadoes. But we had a freak storm a couple years ago. People did exactly that, went outside to watch the storm and take pics. They took tornado warnings more seriously after they realized the extent of the damage. I think a couple people died. IIRC. I'm from a place W tornadoes, but a few years ago I was living in a place that pretty much never had them. Me and co-workers were driving to the country to go onto a cabin work retreat. But when we were leaving the city around 3 p.m. I looked at the sky and thought, oh, those clouds aren't good. The air feels thick and still. This doesn't seem like we should be driving, but I was still a little unfamiliar with the climate and no one else seemed to think anything was amiss. Halfway through that drive it started raining so hard visibility was rough. And when we got out of the car to use the bathroom at a gas station, it was literally pouring sideways and I was soaked from head to toe in 2 seconds. Turns out there was a tornado touchdown in the city and we were just driving around the outskirts of the storm, and none of these people I was with knew what serious weather in their own hometown looked like.
Hey guys, if you like this video then smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more contents like this. And don't forget to press that bell icon to get notified for future videos. Thanks for watching. Click here to see more videos.